I'm Martin Shermerton, and this is a quick overview of Talkwalker. Now, when you sign into your Talkwalker account, which is an awesome social listening tool, you'll see that we have the home page, and you'll see at the top you've got home there. Now, let me just give you a quick tour of this page. The most important things are analytics, which we come to, and then down you see the IQ apps, and you have options, for instance, like brand listening or hashtag tracking or social channel analytics and other ones as well. Then coming across to the next thing, you have analytics. That's the same link as there. Then you have the dashboards, which is the dashboard, same there. So these are all shortcuts. Then you have the IQ apps. Yep, that's where they are there. Reports and alerts, which you get to there. Or, it's very important, you've got a little cog or gear, and then you have topic setup, and then the project setups and account settings. And we're going to focus mostly on the topic setup for the sake of this video. Okay, let me dive into analytics, and I can show you some of those topics that I've set up already. Now, the thing with analytics is that you'll find that down on the side you have topics, and sometimes these are grouped together as well, and you can see what I've done here. Now, the first one is what will be defaulted when you arrive on this page. So if you don't want to see that one, you need to uncheck it by clicking like that, and you then select another one. So for instance, let's go down to one I've been looking at here, Marriott and Ritz-Carlton in my hotel grouping. That will just bring up the information for that particular topic, and I'll show you how to create the topics in a second. Then you can see on the top you've got the first tab, which is results, and these are all categories. These are high-level categories. So you've got results, performance, influences, sentiment, themes, demographics, and world map. So you click on any of these and you'll change the display relating to that particular single topic if you've only selected one, or guess what, you can compare topics as well, but we'll come on to that. So that's the first thing to know, is that you have the topics on the side and that you have this top bar. Now, underneath, you have this second set of options. And let's say on the world map, which you can see here, I want to show sentiment of how people are feeling about the brands based upon how I set things up. I'd click into sentiment there, and it will then show me positive, neutral, or negative sentiments based upon green, yellow, or red. And that gives us a good overview. Now, let's just jump back to results. Here you can see the sentiment as a graph relating to that particular topic. And I will show you how to set up the topics in a second and what's included. Now, what's important is that you can scroll down and you can see the people who are talking about these particular things. Now, to begin with, you've got the engagement, you have the potential reach, and you've also got this trending score here. Now, scrolling back up, you've got little dots next to the results, and you can, for instance, change to a bar chart, you could change to a column chart, you could change to a table, and it all depends on how you want to display the information and then interpret. You can also scroll down. We'll come to dashboards in a little while, but you can export this information as well, and you can embed it on another platform. It's very cool. You can embed on Facebook or on Twitter. Now, sentiment you'll see appears on both the top, because on the top in sentiment you can then drill down into these other areas. But on results, what we want to do is, for instance, take an overview look at the sentiment that we just had there, and then go, well, where are people talking about this particular brand and these particular topics? So come across to media types, and you can see that we've got a mix of where the conversations are happening. And let's change that now to, let's go for a bar chart. And you can see that the blues are Twitter, and you hover over and we've got that information there. And the purples are online news and so on. It really depends what you're trying to achieve, what one you want to show. So let's just come back to that one. Okay, let's look at an extra couple of things on this same setting, which if I hover over and it brings up those results, firstly that makes a great screenshot, but secondly, if I click, then it will bring up the top results, and from there I could, for instance, dive into Twitter and then go and engage with that person, go and follow them and build a relationship. and I scroll down and I have all that there. Also, if I dive into one of these little hover over nodes at the top there, and I click that, it's going to bring up what was going on that particular day for that particular spike or piece of information, and I can then go and see what the conversations were. So this is why it's great for social listening. Okay, taking that a step further, let's come across to influencers. And as the data gets pulled in, as you can see, you have a list of the overview of the influencers first, and then you've got the top influencers here with information such as the sentiment and the reach, the engagement, and so on. So if you wanted to, for instance, connect with this person, then you would click. That would bring up the information that they've been talking about, and then, just like we looked at before, you'd be able to click into the links that will take you to their Twitter account. And you can see that here. And you can also see how many followers or whatever information is relevant for you. Okay, let me now show you how to set up a topic. And this will be really your starting point, but I wanted to give you an overview of some of the whys first. Now, as you can see, I have these topics down the left-hand side that I've already set up, and some of them have been grouped, which we'll come to in a second. But you have options. You either have a topic, which is going to be keywords, or you have channels, and that could be, for instance, like a Facebook page or Twitter account. Then you can add in custom filters, and you've also got events. And we're just going to focus largely on this video for add a topic. So click into add a topic, and you will be able to add keywords in here, and you'll be able to label it down here and also assign it to a group. If you add a new group down the bottom, that will create a new one, or there's existing ones. Now, the most straightforward way for me to show you is to take an existing topic and look to edit it. So let's go for that Marriott Ritz-Carlton example here. So I click on any existing topics that I've created. Then you can see that we have the search terms here that I've already put in. So anytime people talk about Marriott hotels, and notice that they're in little parentheses, or Ritz-Carlton, that is what I want this for. I've called it Marriott and Ritz-Carlton, and I've got it in that grouping of hotels because I've set that up as one of the options. Now, if you click on edit, you'll see here that this is exactly what you do. So if I added another or, you see it turns a darker color, and then you'd go, okay, well, maybe I want to extend this to broader hotel chains, and I could put Hilton or something like that. However, Marriott and Ritz-Carlton works for this one, so I'm going to just cancel and then return. It's as easy as that. But as you can probably tell, it is a very sophisticated tool, so you can go into detailed syntax search, and guess what? You've got a whole list of things you can be working with as well, and that will change the results. Let's now jump back to that analytics page, which we can do just at the top, and I'm going to deselect virtual reality, and I'm going to select instead content marketing and social media marketing, because we want to compare things that are like for like, really. Okay, so we've got those two that come up, and you can see that the share of topics here is greater for content marketing than it is for social media marketing. And I might say, okay, well, what are the media types that people are having conversations about these particular subject areas? And I'll show you what's set up on the topics in relation to these as well. Okay, so we can see that we've got Twitter as the main one, and then we've got in here, for instance, online news. The sentiment coming across to that. And we can see that largely we've got this 23% positive, the neutral there, and a relatively low negative there. Remembering that we can change the displays up here, but also you can change these too. So you can show this to be like a column chart if you wanted to. Scrolling down again, you can see the conversations, and you can see matched by the, sorted by the engagement at the top, but you can change these if you wanted to, and just look at the Instagram posts relating to those subject matters that are getting the most engagement as well. Then you can come across to, for instance, the world map, or looking at demographics, and then say, what is the sentiment of the different demographics? You have top countries, top languages, gender, and so on. And I might say, actually, I'd like to see that as a line chart, and that will display that differently, or it could be that I want it as a column chart, and so on. And you can just scroll down and see the different things. Personally, I think this is a great display at the bottom for the gender option. So lots of information there, and you can come across to languages, and you could just look on devices as well. Okay, coming across to themes, let's have a little look on themes. You can see here that we have the overall themes, and they're grouped, or rather displayed in the size of the nature of the conversations. Hover over and we can get some more stats there on that. And if you see you've got show details, you can click, and that's going to bring up more details as to what is causing that to be the most talked about particular area. And again, it's related to keywords. Okay, so let me now dive back to something we had a little while ago, which is in here, the topic setup. I just want to show you on the inside. Let's look at social media marketing, because you'll see the consistent pattern. What I've done, a very simple setup on this. I've just included social media and marketing all within the parentheses so that it's related to that particular search phrase. Okay, let's now dive to the IQ apps by coming up to the top where you've got IQ apps and clicking from there. Now, we're just going to talk about a few of these, even though there's lots more you can explore. The first one is brand listening. So let's dive into brand listening. And this is perfect if you want to look at a particular brand. So let's use the Marriott Ritz-Carlton as an option. So you just select from that particular menu. And you can see here that you've got this kind of dashboard already rocking and rolling for you, where you've got the mentions and you've got the engagement, you've got the potential reach, etc. And I think this is a really useful way of seeing information on any single particular brand. Now, what you want to do is to know next about filters. So you want to click into open filters, and you've got all of the options here as to adjust the view. Now you can do this when you are in the analytics page as well. And one of the things is to look at the timescale. So I'm going to change mine to 30 days, and then I'm going to close filters, and that will shift the view to a longer period of time. These are great for screenshots and showing what is going on compared to the previous 30 days. Also on here, you can hover over, for instance, and let's say find out what's going on with these. And again, as we did before, you can be clicking in and seeing the posts that are related to that particular result. And you can click into those as well and go and have a look at them. Then scrolling down, you can see the share of sentiment, and once more the real positives are being shown here, but also in this particular view you can see that Instagram, for instance, it has a huge amount of positive sentiment, and that may well be related to the nature of the content that people are sharing. Well, it is. And then the top themes as well, you can see a word cloud of what most people are talking about, and you've got the top influencers. So you have everything really in one place there. Okay, coming back to the overview of the IQ apps, which you find there. Next, I'm going to have a look at hashtag tracking. So you're probably already very familiar with hashtags, but the idea here is that you are able to see the hashtags in a new way. You're able to see a lot more information. So I've got a few examples. I've got cat today. I've got small business here. So just using that one as an example. What this does is gives me for that specific hashtag or potentially groupings of hashtags that you've put together into any of the particular topics. And just in the topic setup, I'm going to give you a glimpse of the two hashtags that are relating to this particular query that's pulling in the information. And you can see those there. And then I can see the information on mentions, engagements, potential reach compared to the last 7 days. If I want to change the time, we know you come to the filters and you're just there, or you could be adjusting other information as well. As I said, lots you can do with this tool. What I'm going to do now is look at Twitter. So click on Twitter on that top bar, and that will bring up the information just relating to that, which you can see here. And then let's scroll down and let's just pick one of these on a particular day and click into that, which will bring up those results again, and it'll show the top results sorted by engagement. Then come across to the little dots next to that, and I could, for instance, add this to a report, create a new report, so that can then be sent to me. And I could also, if I wanted to, is change the sentiment so that informs that that information is or isn't as I would like to see it. And I can share these as articles as well down here. And one other thing, if I find something that relates directly and I want to see how that information spread and how the engagement got to how it is, there's a little icon here, which is like a broadcast icon that will show me the virality map. And we can then see the results, and even clicking into those, we can see who those people were, if they were, for instance, influencing other decisions. And we can see that they retweeted an image, and we get all this other information and insight. Okay, back to IQ apps, and next we'll have a look at social channel analytics. To start with, we need to set up the topic that we're going to be getting the insight into. And this has the ability to add in channels. There's lots of channels you can add in, but we've got some from Facebook and Twitter already set up. But I want to show you how to set one up yourself. So you're going to come to Add Channel, and then, for instance, drop in the page, like the Facebook page that you want to get insight on. So you click, and then you select that particular page. Now, I've already got my Facebook and my Twitter accounts linked, but you will be connecting them up at that particular point. Now, if you want to group these together, for instance, you may have hotels or your favorite hotels or whatever it may be, then you're going to add the name of the group there. You can add a color. You can do this with all the topics, and that will change how the information is displayed on the graphs. And then when you're ready, you're going to click Save. Also, whilst we're at it, if you don't want to have one of these at any point, you click on the little bin and you can delete it. Why would I delete it? Well, actually, I've got a channel already set up down here, which is the Facebook page. If I click in that, you'll be able to see that I've got it set up ready. Okay, so now we're going to go into the IQ app for social channel analytics. And I know that the first one that comes up is we're in the Ritz-Carlton, which is great, but we're actually in their Twitter profile because I had that set up as well. So it's the Facebook page I want to click on. So I go at the top there, and I then see for their Facebook page information, including, for instance, fan growth, and also then the engagement activity. As I scroll down, and we can see here the activities that are going on, and we can click in and bring up information relating to that particular page. And we can see here the nature of the posts that are being made, as well as the information here on most engaging post type, given the evidence there and the level of engagement. And you can scroll down and see who, or which posts, shall I say, are getting the most engagement. This is the page, so it's very likely that the page itself is going to get the most engagement for them. Now, let's just scroll back to the top and come across to that Twitter profile, which I also set up in exactly the same way for the channels that we did a little earlier, and you see a similar story being told out with this information. Okay, the last thing I want to show you is in the upper right. You've got refresh there, but you've got this icon that says add to dashboard. Now, what's great about this is you can create your own dashboard with the information that you want to display. That could be lots of different modules that are all in one place. You add the name and then add the description there. Next to it, you've got add to report. Now, in a similar way, this means that you can get a report emailed to you as often as you want, and that have the right information for you contained within it. Next, you have the ability to create an alert. Once clicked, you'll be able to label the report and then also figure out how you want it to be displayed when you have it sent, for instance, as a PDF or as a PowerPoint. And you can then look at how often to send the report. When you're ready, you'll click Create. One more thing to say is that you can, in fact, with a single URL, create something that is shareable, that anyone can see, that has information on topics that you put in. So here we see that this is a political view, but we can see the share of the conversation. We can hover over, and people don't need to be logged in for this, so it's another way of sharing the information. You can see the percentage of share of voice on these particular topics, and lots more as you scroll down, and you can even hover over these two. And note, you've got things like plus and minus here, and if you want to, you can explore what these are all about by hovering over there too. And in this case, you can scroll down and you can get more information on who is talking and the volumes as well of results, as well as gaining new ways of displaying the information and the nature of the topics. Finally, you can see the viral articles and who is sharing what. That, ladies and gentlemen, is a quick tour of Talkwalker. Amazing tool. I've really got into it over the last couple of months. Hope you enjoy this quick overview. There's so much more that you can do than I've had time to be able to show you. So please do get in touch. Check out the links in the description, and as you can see, there's a free demo available. So look forward to connecting with you around how you can use this in your business.